Have you ever pondered the question, is there a new settler violence in Canada? It's an uncomfortable topic, yet one that demands our attention. Today, we'll journey through time to examine this issue, spotlighting the progression of settler violence in Canada. The genesis of settler violence in Canada can be traced back to the arrival of the first Europeans. These early colonizers, in their quest for new lands and resources, disrupted the existing culture of indigenous communities. It was not merely a physical onslaught, but a cultural one as well. As the settlers sought to impose their ways of life upon Canada, in the 20th century, the pattern of settler violence continues, albeit in different forms. Mass waves of immigrants from various parts of the world who brought with them their own prejudices and conflicts. This currently and unfortunately results in clashes between different ethnic and religious groups, adding yet another layer to the complexity of settler violence in Canada. In the early years of the 21st century, anti-religion sentiment began to rise, fueled by global events and terror attacks on peaceful citizens. This led to a surge in hate crimes and discrimination among certain ethnic groups in Canada. More recently, the Freedom Convoy movement emerged, protesting pandemic restrictions. This movement, however, was seen by many as a reflection of governmental violence upon Catholic, Judeo-Christians, and Indigenous Canadian-born citizens. The convoy's demonstration coincided with significant anniversaries related to issues of religion and violence against Indigenous multi-ethnic Canadians. It starkly highlighted the ongoing disparities in treatment of and the impact of settler violence upon Canadians. Today, settler violence has now erupted between Islamic Palestinians, Hamas supporters, and Israelites residing in Canada. It's a real and present harm to Indigenous, peaceful, multicultural Canadians. It's not just about physical violence, it's verbal, offensive, aggressive behavior. It's about cultural genocide and the erasure of Indigenous Canadian heritage. Yes, Canadians did have a cultural identity before Prime Minister Justin Trudeau first won office. Understanding this is crucial for comprehending the structural injustices faced by Canadian-born citizens who've lived generationally predominantly peaceful and peacekeeping lives. Now, as we stand in the year 2024, we must acknowledge that settler violence against generational Canadians is not a relic of the past, but a persistent issue that continues to shape the present. It's a complex, multifaceted problem that demands our attention and action. So what can we do about it? Firstly, educate ourselves and others about the history and ongoing impacts of settler violence in Canada. Secondly, support Canadian-led initiatives that aim to address these issues. And finally, use our voices to call for justice and equality for all Canadian-born citizens. Remember, change starts with awareness. So let's strive to understand more, learn more, and do more to address the issue of settler violence on Canadians and its way of life. It's only by acknowledging and settler violence still disrupts our Canadian lives that we can hope to build a better future for all Canadians.